this. This ain't gonna fucking work. Son of a bitch.
I just wanted to show you the USCCA's free concealed carry, atrocity, and gun laws map. Super quick.
Oh, that's why. Alright, so how do I do that? Not really what we wanted, but I guess that's what you get when you got a cell phone. Okay guys, so it's a little weird. I am on a cell phone, and I don't know why it's acting like this, but whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I've done it on a cell phone before, and I'm watching it on the computer, and it's just showing the small screen, so I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. But let's see if I can find some options here. Oh, and let me know if I got volume, if anyone's watching. Let's see, get out of there. Go back. What's this do? Nope. What's that do? Nope, don't want that. Alright, let's put that back. What's this do? Nope. Cancel. Well, anyways, yeah. I don't know why it's sideways like this. I've used a cell phone before and it hasn't done this. Maybe I gotta use the other camera. I don't know. Let me try something here. See if that does anything. No, that don't do anything either. Let me see something. Let me flip it back around. Let's see if that flips it around. Maybe it's because I'm using the wrong side of the camera here or something. I don't know. And nope. Still nothing. So anyways, that's what we got. I'm live, so if you come in here, you're going to be on video. Okay. Anyways, just screwing around here, trying to figure this live stuff out. We've been on for about 5 minutes. I don't know. I used this camera before, and I never had a problem. But for whatever reason, maybe YouTube's changed or something, but this camera doesn't really do what I thought it was going to do. So that's what you got. So we probably won't go on here real long. We were going to work on this motor, and I am going to tear it apart a little bit. This is the motor that's out of my welder, my Miller Trailblazer 250G. Basically what we're doing is I'm in the process of getting the piston. If you guys remember from the videos, there's a piston missing and a connecting rod. So I need a piston, a connecting rod, and a rod bearing. But I got to make sure I get the numbers off the piston, connecting rod, and rod bearing so I get the right ones. And then we're going to clean this thing up and see if we can get it running. But I got to get those numbers first. So that's what we're doing. I'm just trying to see if I can get in here and get a number. And hopefully we can do that. My gloves here. So anyways, for those of you not here that's going to watch this later, it's not watching it live because it will be posted to my channel after the fact, go into the comment section and tell me what you think. Another thing I'm going to try to do is start doing more live streams and probably do the live streams on like a Saturday or something. I'll try to get more live streams and maybe not as many uploads over the next couple of weeks. Because I am running out of content to upload about. I think someone's looking for me. Maybe not. So anyways. For those of you who don't know about this motor, I bought this welder back in June, and when I bought it off the dude, I spent like $300 on it. It's a Miller Trailblazer. He said it didn't run, which I knew it didn't run when I bought it, and he claimed to not know what was wrong with it, but pretty much the motor shot. There was a piston missing, parts of the connecting rod were laying in the oil pan, what I'm taking off right now, and you know, stuff like that. So I'm just trying to get this thing running. I don't even know if the welder itself runs at all. I don't want to spend a ton of money on a motor, then get the motor running, and then the welder and the generator part doesn't work, and then you still, you know, a bunch of money dropped into it. Where if you end up spending $800 or $1,000, just buy another used one for that. There's our oil pan. This is definitely gonna need cleaned up. So, and like I said, I haven't cleaned it up at all. So, anyways. What the hell is that? Wow, I don't know what that is. That looks like some RTV got sucked up in the oil. What's that called? It's slipping in my mind what this is called right now. Oil pump. It's not the oil pump. It's the oil. Crap. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called right now. But it has to pick up the oil and oils the whole motor. There's a little screen there, and the oil pan sits there, and it sucks oil and pumps it through the motor. Oil pump. I guess it's not really the pump, but I guess it is the oil pump. So anyways, what I'm trying to do here is yeah, Yeah, it's got the hole in it. I think I better get a part number off this thing. This should be fun. I don't know, this crank might be shot. This crank might be shot, buddy. It ain't looking good. See if I can get you down here and take a look at this crank. So, I can't see a thing. Let me take the camera off here for a second. Might be better to go like this. So, there we go. See that crank? I'll rotate the motor here. Whoop. Now, I don't know what the hell I'm doing now. I got everything jacked up. There it is. See the crank there? I'm going to rotate this thing. You see the chunks there sitting on the crank? So anyways, sorry for the camera being flipped around and everything. I'm just trying to get you guys to look at this crank as I rotate it. You can see chunks right there, and there's a piece missing there, and up on top like that. Anyways, that's better. Now we got someone watching. What's going on, Brett? And anti-lip target. Anyways, yeah, I got 2 big garage now. I got all sorts of room over here now. But anyways, on your pistons, and then the other one was I can't watch because I haven't got Windows 10. So I can't watch live because I don't got Windows 10. So anyways, there's 2 different types of pistons in these engines. There's a piston that has a hole in the end of the rod down towards the crank, and there's one that's solid. This one has the hole in the end down towards the rod. Up on the top here, there's a part number for that. So I need to get that part number off of there. And I'm guessing I'll take the caps off and see if I can get a part number for the bearing. I'm going to guess it's a standard bearing. I doubt any work has been done to it. But let me see if I can. Let's see what it is. Don't got any damn pens that work for real. Thought I was prepared. 3124. I'm hoping that's the part number anyways for the connecting rod. 170324. That's what I'm reading on the bottom of the connecting rod. And I know the pistons are a standard piston, so I know the pistons, I got the part number for the piston and I got the part number for the rod. Now I just need to figure out the bearings for the rod bearing, or the connecting rod bearing. Yeah. So anything I need to do is take these bolts off and see what we can do with that. That's nice. 13. Holy freak, what size is this? You shitting me? Must be a half inch. I guess that. So I got 2 people watching. Thanks guys for watching. And you know, my videos don't get a lot of views, so I do appreciate everybody that takes the time off to watch my videos and watch these live streams and everything. That's awesome. So, I try to answer or comment every comment that goes into the comment section. I get probably 99% of them. So if you put a comment on my video, 99% of the time I'm going to reply. Unless you're just being a dick, then I probably won't. But. Tell you what, they didn't make this easy, that's for sure. So back, I don't know if Brett's still watching or not, but back to Brett said I had a bigger place, and what happened was, back in July, I was renting where my old place was. I didn't own that, I rented that. And I ended up buying a place, and it came with a 2-bay garage. So I got a ton more space for all my toys. That's cool. That's gonna happen. I'm gonna drop it down the bottom of the old can. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. So. Yes. So here's the funny part about that. That was easy, or semi-easy to get off. It's gonna be really tough to get that back on, I'm afraid. Let's see if I can get this thing. Ooh, there we go. Uh-oh. If that was good or not. Here's my connecting rod. Hold the freak on a second. Isn't there a bearing that goes in there? There's not a bearing on this side, that's for sure. Huh. Alright, so here's my cap. And there's no bearing in there. Okay. I don't know, I'm really confused now. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna pull this head off and see if I can pull that whole assembly out. Now this thing, I'll make sure I put this back on the right way. I was under the understanding that there was supposed to be some rod bearings on this thing, connecting rod bearings. I'm not seeing anything now. I'm looking at that crank, man. That crank looks bad. I might have to replace the crank on this thing. If I gotta replace the crank on this thing, it ain't worth fixing. So I was pricing cranks, and you can get a used crank that looked better than this, but not much better than this. They want like $200 for the crank. They want. I found a set of heads last night. 2 heads, or not heads, pistons, and they wanted $69 for the pistons with the connecting rod, which isn't a bad price if you replace both pistons connecting rods. But looking at this crank, and this crank's a lot worse than I thought it was. So if I gotta tear the crank out of this thing, that means I gotta tear the whole thing down to a bare block, basically. And I gotta replace all sorts of crap. And that's gonna get into the probably close to the $500 to $600 to rebuild this thing. And I'm not spending $500 to $600. I can buy another welder, similar to the same thing basically, for like $1,000. And you got $600 in it, and you ain't know if the welding part actually works. Alright, there's my head. And that's pretty much from water being in the engine. And I got this thing pretty much from water being in the engine. And I got this thing I dumped out. Probably all the water in the engine. Okay. Let me see if I can turn this thing. That'll work. What this is I'm just taking a piece of, it's fuel line. It's not fuel line, it's transmission line, but it's basically fuel line. I'm just sliding it over them 2 studs that are on the piston, and that way whenever I pull the piston out, the end of the stud doesn't hit the crank and put a gouge in the crank. This piston will not budge. I'm trying to get it to go. That ain't gonna work either. I need like a piece of dowel rod or something. I've got the dowel rod down. This might work. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Maybe not either. Well, maybe the piston's not coming out right now. Maybe not. Well, I'm trying to see if there is a. I'll have to do some more research on these bad boys. I'm trying to see if there is a connecting rod on this thing. Yeah, connecting rod. A rod bearing, not connecting rod. There's a connecting rod on it. No doubt about that. So what it is, it's holding up on the end out here. It's not the piston. I thought it was stuck to the piston where you couldn't get it off the piston. Off the crank, I mean. But it's coming off the crank. It's just the end. It's kind of like corroded and crap from all the gunk, and I think it's just holding up there. So, I don't know. So I got the number for the connecting rod, and it's a standard piston. So if you just get a standard piston, the only problem I got is the rod bearings. I don't know if it takes a rod bearing or not. I thought they did. Maybe they don't. I'm gonna go ahead and put that cap back on, and the two nuts. I don't lose that crap. Yeah, Brett, I don't really have much of a clue what I'm doing either. I never really worked on motors that much. So I'm just kind of going out blind here. do know that you want to put everything back together the way you took it apart. I know that much. So that goes back on. This nut went up on top. Easy one on first and keep the hard on for later, I guess. And then the hard one goes on the bottom. I didn't have humongous hands. That'd be alright. My hands are so freaking big. It's hard to get this crap on here. I think if this thing wasn't in the way, I think I could probably get that out, or get my hand down in there. It's kind of holding me up here a little bit here. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna get that bolt back on there. That's interesting. I'm gonna take this thing off. Let me see if I can take that off. See if that'll help me out a little bit. Don't think yet. See, get that crank in there. There's no way to take that off anyways. Okay. Alright. So this is all I wanted to do with this anyways. I wanted to get the part number for the connecting rod, the part number for the piston, and the part number for the rod bearing, connecting rod bearing. But there's no connecting rod bearing on this, so that makes me, I gotta do research to find out if there's actually a connecting rod bearing that goes on. I would think there would be, but I don't know. I just can't get my hand down inside there. I'm not sure how I got it off. There we go. Come on, man. Right there. I got it threaded, almost started, and it freaking moves on me. Aha. Alright, we got it. Oh, man. If anybody got one of these engines want to send me over parts, that'd be awesome. It's an Ona 20 horsepower XSL, I believe, Performer. I've been looking for an engine or parts at a decent price for 6 months since June, and all I've come up with is they came on John Deere 316s, I think, model numbers, and John Deere 318s, and wheel horses, mostly the rototillers on the wheel horses. And then they came in the 90s Miller welders, like the Trailblazers, the Bobcats. I think it came in the Legend, all them kinds of welders, generators, welder generators that Miller made. And they might have came in, I think their Lincolns had the Kohlers, the Kohler engines. But yeah, anyone that has an engine like this, or any kind of lawnmower that came in or like that, I mean, they must be like a rare thing because they want big money for it. And the parts online, man, are outrageously expensive. Like a rebuild kit to rebuild this whole engine is $1,200. That is outrageous. Outrageous. Like that's just price of individual parts. If you just bought individual parts, you probably have, if you bought all new parts individually, you probably have close $1,500 in it. Yeah, I don't know, maybe less. I don't know. I know the crank itself runs $200, and then the pistons usually run, like a piston and a connecting rod will be, you know, if you find it less than $75 for one piston and one connecting rod, that's probably a good deal. You probably should jump on it, because they usually run like $90. So just to replace a crank and two pistons is going to be $500. All right, that's good. So, right. So I got to do some research on this thing. See if I can see if they take it. See if there should be a bearing in there. Pretty sure they should be. Let's see. Yes, I see a 2-cylinder Onan mic. That's what it is. It's off of a Miller Trailblazer. That's what this is off of. They came on a bunch of different stuff, but it's a 2-cylinder, 20 horsepower, and it's missing a piston and a rod. Whenever I got it, I took the head off this side, you can't see because it's out of camera, and there's no piston in there. And when I took the oil pan, I don't know if they call it an oil pan, but whatever this is, I call it an oil pan. In the bottom of the oil pan there was the remains of a connecting rod, and I don't even know where that stuff's at. It's over on the other side, laying somewhere. The remains of the connecting rod and the piston was gone, so I'm guessing that when it broke, they just took the head off, somehow pulled the piston out, and just left the rest of the connecting rod laying in the oil pan. So it's hard to get to on the welder without taking the motor off. Like I spent probably 4 hours trying to get this pan off with the motor still on the welder, and then I come back and just end up. It's real easy to take the motor off. It was only like 4 bolts. You took 4 bolts off this flywheel, and then on the bottom of the oil pan, you got your 4. And take those 4 bolts off, the bolts that bolt to the welder itself, and I had the whole motor off in probably 45 minutes, probably less than that actually. And I spent like a couple hours each day over the course of probably 2 weeks just trying to get this pan off, because just the way it sits in there, without looking at it, it's hard to explain, but the way it sits in there and the way the gas tank is and everything, like it's impossible. It's not impossible, but it's hard to get to the bolts. And I was under the impression that I watched a couple videos on YouTube, and they said you had to tear the whole generator apart to get this off. And I started looking, and I found the parts manual for the Miller Trailblazer, and it had the engine in there. And I start looking through how the engine connects to I guess it's the generator that sits in front of this, or the generator part. And I'm like, it's only 4 bolts. So I came out and looked at it, and I seen the 4 bolts, and I popped them 4 bolts off, and the motor kind of like it didn't really set back, but you could see like something moved, like it was disconnected. And I'm like, okay, so then I took them 4 bolts off and like almost fell off the motor or off the welder. I was like, wow. So if I'd have done that, I probably took the motor off like the first week I had it and wouldn't have been fighting with what I fought with for a couple weeks. Just goes to show you. Just because it's on YouTube don't make it true. So anyways, let's see, we got what, 3 people watching? 2 people watching, something like that. It's cool. A couple people came into the comment section. That's awesome. And we've been live for 40 minutes and 32 seconds right now. So that was all I wanted to do. I wanted to get into this motor, see what the parts were, but this crank, I don't know. If I put a piston back in here without fixing this crank, I don't know if it's even fixable without taking it out. I mean, it's probably fixable. You can probably get in there and get the this stuff. But if I gotta pull the crank completely out, that means I gotta drop the piston, I gotta take this thing out, I gotta take all this stuff off. It's basically gonna be down to a bare block. The cam shaft's gonna have to come out with the gear on the front of it. And then when you start taking all that stuff out, then there's a bunch of like seals and stuff that you got, because when you take them out, more likely you're gonna ruin them seals. So you got to replace all that stuff. Now you're looking at just a complete rebuild, and at that point, it's just better just to find another motor. I don't know. So anyways, I think that's it. Just wanted to come out and get live for a little bit and compare into this motor a little bit. I don't really got nothing else to say. I don't know. I'm going to get off here. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Go to the comment section. Tell me what you think. What would you do? Would you scrap the motor and try to find something else, or just find a different welder altogether? Just scrap the whole thing. It might not be worth saving. All right, guys. That's going to do it. Like, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. See what happens. Later.